Dephemerember 2023 is sadly coming to an end, so I wanted to flip through last year's Dephemerember journal to see how I feel about it after doing another one this year. This journal now feels strangely outdated to me, which I consider a good thing because it means I have grown. I love trying a new journal style each year, and I'm so happy with the journal we chose for 2023 despite my hesitations at the beginning. Welcome to the final episode of Dephemerember 2023. It's Barbara from Vienna, Austria, and just in case this is the first video you're watching in this series, I'm co-hosting this series with my dear friend Luise making fun ephemera in December. So 4 days a week, Luise and I are each sharing a video with you. So if you're new here, please check the link in the description with all the information you need to catch up, including freebies and other printables, as well as a playlist and of course the prompt list. So we're done with all of our official prompts, but of course we still have Ephy's second half of the prompt to do today. So if you remember, this was the letter that Ephy wrote to me, and he wrote another one to Luise for the opening of December 1st, because he couldn't wait for us to start creating. So he created his own prompt for the kickoff. And so Luise and I both made a door and we sent it to each other. So if you missed that video, you can find that in the playlist linked below in the Dephemerember link. And there's also a freebie version available of this letter for you to print out. I am so excited to finally be able to open Luise's door. And as I went to grab Luise's package, I noticed that Ephy has already attached his second letter with the second prompt. So I am so excited to read what the second prompt is. So, dear Barbara, the moment has finally arrived to reveal your second prompt for our Creative Ephemera Challenge. Your prompt is past. Oh, I love that. This is your opportunity to blend elements of history, memory, and nostalgia into your project. Your task is to take the door Luise crafted and incorporate aspects of the past into it. This could be anything from using antique materials, incorporating old family photos, or drawing inspiration from historical styles. The goal is to create a door that not only represents an entryway, but also tells a story of times gone by. Oh, I love that Ephy provided some inspiration. I'm so excited to see how you combine door and past into a beautiful and meaningful piece of art. Let your imagination and memories guide you. Enjoy every moment of this crafting journey. Oh, I sure will. What else does he have to say? And hey, before I wrap up, I need to tell you something a bit personal. Uh-oh. After we finish with this prompt, I'm going to snuggle down into a bit of a hibernation. It's like tucking myself in for a long, cozy nap. I'm not sure when I'll wake up and rejoin our crafty adventures, but I want you to know how much joy and warmth you've brought into my life. Aww. I'll miss our creative times together, and I'm holding on to the hope that someday we'll craft our magic again. Big cuddly hugs. Ephy. Oh my goodness. Ephy is going into hibernation. Well, I guess that makes sense. He has been sleeping a lot. That's going to be tough for me to not have my little craft buddy by my side anymore. Let's not think about it now. Let's open Luise's door. Of course, we've seen Luise create the door in a video. You can find that video with the title something like An Unexpected Letter from Ephy. It's in Luise's playlist, which is linked below this video. So we've seen this beautiful card. I just love this so much. And again, this image here is from Luise's Dream Team background kit. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, and there's a bee here. I didn't see that before. So cute. Look how gorgeous this pocket is. I so love this sentiment. I know the voices aren't real, but man, do they come up with some great ideas. My only problem is, how do I open this? Because I don't want to cut it here. I don't want to cut it here. Maybe I'll just cut it here on the side. This would actually also make a nice page in my journal if it wasn't so full already. So cute. What is this? This is such a special bead. Look at that. Wow, that is absolutely amazing. And there's a little dragonfly. Aww. And the button. So cute. Let me take this off. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have this in my hands. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. It's actually smaller than I had thought it was, seeing it in the video. The flowers survived. Ooh, they're fairly stiff. That is really cool. Oh my goodness. It's so beautiful. To be able to touch this, to feel all the different textures, the different layering. It's just amazing. 3 layers of butterfly wings. Season of Magic Dephemerember. And I can't believe it's coming to an end. It has not hit me now. It probably won't until I wake up tomorrow and there's no other prompt for me to do. So having this in my hand helps me to think about how could I incorporate the past. One idea I'm having straight away, this heavy piece here, is to go through my Dephemerember journal from last year, 2022, because in one of our Instagram lives, one of you mentioned how fun would it be to look at the prompts again from previous years and to see how we would interpret the prompts now, because obviously what we would be making today would probably be very different than what we made in 2002. And if you're interested in seeing more of this journal and you haven't seen it yet from last year, you can find the whole playlist of this journal linked below, and you can also find a flip through. So what I will do is look at all these prompts, keep the door in mind, and decide which of the prompts I want to redo for today's piece of ephemera. So this door gives me 3 huge challenges. Thank you, Luise. So first of all, this color scheme does not go with my color scheme. Second of all, it is so bulky and like a really heavy, sturdy piece of ephemera, which is really hard to integrate like on a normal page. And thirdly, I was hoping that I could hinge the door, but seeing this now with all the flowers sticking out on all of the edges, I cannot hinge it because the flowers are going to be in the way of the hinge. This, of course, would be a beautiful piece for the cover of a journal, but of course, it's not going to work on this cover. Luise. What I could imagine, possibly, is this page here, because I think these colors go together quite well. And I could mount it just like that, glue it on these 2 sides, and then it would just be a tuck spot. But oh my goodness, what a massive tuck spot. I'm going to have to do a lot of thinking which of these prompts are going to work. Probably something with a card or something I can tuck in here easily. And while I think about that, I want to feature another YouTube channel that has been doing amazing stuff for Dephemerember. So this is Sylvia Sheriff's channel, and I love her creativity. For example, she made this adorable Ephy garland, and she is also into grunge. Yay! Just look at these grungy, rusty birds that Sylvia made for the Salvaged Birds prompt. Super cool. Thank you for sharing and being part of this amazing community, Sylvia. I will link Sylvia's channel below this video, so go check her out. So I've made my decision for the prompt I'm going to use, which is number 2, splatters and a playing card. Because I think a playing card would be great to tuck into my journal without adding any extra bulk. So this is the ephemera I made last year using that prompt. So this here was a card and I added this giraffe, and it's just a flip out that I added to my pages. I guess the splatters are the embossing here. Not super thrilled with this interpretation, but I have evolved as an artist, so that's awesome. I'm always so happy when I'm not so thrilled about past projects, because that means I have grown as an artist. That has inspired me to come up with a sentiment for the piece of ephemera I'm going to make, which is: artistic growth is not a destination, but a journey of self-discovery where each page turned is a new chapter of your story, and every found object a reflection of your evolving soul. So let's move this aside. I am so happy that this year's journal is not as bulky as last year's, because this is just insane. This one is really, really more manageable. So coming back to the placement of the door, I changed my mind about having it here because this just adds way too much bulk. You don't really see it in the video, but it is a super bulky piece, and somehow it's just too bulky to be in between the pages like this. So instead, I'm going to put it on the back cover here. And I like that placing it here, it kind of balances out this dark belly band. So as my playing card, I chose another one of those large playing cards that I used in a previous prompt. I have already sanded down the front. I will probably be covering the back so that I can add more of your comments. And since Luise has a Tim Holtz paper doll here, I decided I will also add Tim Holtz paper dolls. And I decided on these two. They are the same, but a different size. And interestingly, they have different colors. Do you see? This one is more warm toned than this one. So these are two versions of me. And by having these two sizes, it symbolizes my growth as an artist. I mentioned this before, during Dephemerember, I have the fastest leap in my growth as an artist because of the prompts, because they challenge me to create things that I would not have created otherwise. They challenge me to think more outside of the box. And of course, because of the frequency of having 4 videos a week, that also expedites the growth. Next, I wanted a symbol to unify my two selves. So I cut out a circle out of this packaging paper that I printed on with my jelly plate in a previous video. So I'm thinking of adding this behind them like this. I also considered another option, which was this one, which was from the Salvaged Birds prompt. Remember, we made the pocket and the tags. This is the prompt from December 5th. And adding this behind them is also really cool, but of course they don't stand out as much as they do with the colorful background. Although I do love this circle a lot. So I will go with this one. Also, these colors I think go really well with the colors here and with the colors here. Next, I wanted to add butterfly wings to symbolize growth. And these come from my butterfly freebie number 2. So again, you can find this in the freebie links below. This is printed in a smaller version and on overhead transparency. So I used this middle butterfly right here. Again, I chose a butterfly that would have some of the colors that I already have here and here, which is the red and the yellow. And I wanted each of us, let's move this down to get one wing. Again, this unifies both versions of myself. And then I'm hoping to have enough space on the circle to write my sentiment, which is going to be very challenging. Maybe I'll move it up a little more so I have a little more space here. It is quite a long sentiment for such little space. So I won't glue them on here yet in case I mess it up, but I will glue on their wings so that they don't move around. I'll just add a glue dot on their back so that they don't move around while I write. So I don't like this at all. I know I wanted a colorful background, but now I'm changing my mind because I just don't like the way the writing looks. So I found these watercolor papers that I have dyed with coffee during Dephemerember 2022 with various techniques. And I think I'm going to choose one of these as my background. So this one, for example, was made by laying some twine on top here. And I think a circle out of this would provide a great background, and it would be light enough so that I can hopefully write in pencil. I think I might like that a lot better. So if you're interested in seeing how I made all of these patterns using regular things you would have at home, not using any stencils or anything, that was prompt 14 pattern and a matchbook, which was this one right here. So this is my matchbook, and when you open it you will see copies of these originals that I just showed you. So this is my cutout circle. I've inked up the edges, and thankfully I did not glue these down yet totally. Yeah, that is more harmonious for sure. So let's try the same thing in pencil. So I don't know about you, but I am more happy with this than with this. I also find that this one is easier to read than that one. Obviously, we're still going to do something with the background, but first I will glue these on a little better. So for the background, I want to use some real vintage ephemera. Since the prompt is past, let's use some ephemera from the past. So I'm just going to tear up some pieces and collage them onto this card using my matte gel. If we were to just leave our background like this, this would not stand out enough in my opinion. So we need to push this back a little bit without losing all of these beautiful papers by adding some thin white gesso on top. And I'm going to do this with my brayer. You could do that with a paintbrush, with a credit card type thing, with your fingers, lots of different options. So then we have this. Then I'm going to cut around my card shape. And to add some interest back onto the background without being too dominant, let's add some watercolor. And I'm thinking of this beautiful color right here, which I think will go with the door. So in honor of you, Luise, I'm adding this kind of like olive green. I have this palette, which is a mixture of Prima Marketing Pastel Dream colors. But there was a lot of space here in between that I wanted to fill up so that these don't wiggle around so much. So I added these colors by Van Gogh, and this one is 620, which is this one right here. So I want to add some of that to my mat. Obviously, I could have also used my Distress oxides, but I always mention if you don't have the oxides, you could use other mediums like watercolor or acrylic paint. So let's actually do that. Let's add some more water. And let's dip our card into it. So this came out really well. So this is definitely a more interesting background, but I'm thinking of another piece from the past that we could add. How about this beautiful dainty doily? I would actually leave this sticking out like that as a topper, but I think I will cut this off on the bottom. I like it, so I'm going to glue this down. I forgot to ink up the edges, so I'll do that now with walnut stain. They're floating a little bit, aren't they? They need something to stand on. I found this scrap from Luise. Let's give it a try. I want something subtle. I'm okay with that, so I'll glue on their feet. So I'm ready to glue these on. But of course, this needs a bit more contrast, which we will do by adding splatters, because we need that for our prompt anyway. Why don't we use this brown here? Let's also mix in some of this olive green. Whoops, not the other green, no. I should have used a smaller brush. And I also want to add some black splatters because I want even more contrast. So I've sewn around the edges as well. There you can see the dried splatters. And I also went over the sentiment with a regular ballpoint pen, which is not as dark as using a black fine liner like this. And I have the feeling it's spaced out a little bit more even this way. So finally, I'm happy with that. And we have some more contrast going on here. And then I made the mistake of backing this with regular copy paper, gluing it down with regular PVA glue. And of course, then you get all of these wrinkles, even though I spread out the glue with this here to make it all even, but you still get the wrinkles. I should have known that. So I'm going to back this once again using cardstock to get a smooth backside. So much better now. And so that we have something going on the backside here, I'm going to add some splatters with this Distress Spray Stain Picket Fence. Obviously, alternatively, just use white paint or gesso. So we have a little something on here now. And now we have a super sturdy tag for a super sturdy tuck spot. So that works out well. And instead of just gluing this down, I will hinge it so that it gives me a little bit more space to slide my card in. So let's just cut down 2 pieces of cardstock. Then let's fold these in half. And let's cut the corners off. And then we can glue these on. In the meantime, I have also made a label for my prompt. So I think this can come off. Just want to make sure it doesn't stick onto each other. That wouldn't be good. So now we can adhere it. Oh my goodness. Did I really just glue this onto the wrong side? Are you kidding me? What? Okay, how bad is it if we glue it on this side? It's okay. I would have preferred it here, but I don't want to take it off again. Let's see how far out we can go. Okay, let's just do it. Of course, on the last piece that I am gluing down, I have to make another mistake, obviously. So now this should easily because it's not gluing down. Okay, let's add more glue. This needs to dry before I stick my piece of ephemera in there, otherwise it won't stick. So this has been clamped down for a few minutes. I hope it holds well enough now. Let's add our bulky card. Yes, it fits. Look at this. That is crazy. How does it look when it's closed? This adds an immense amount of bulk. Thank you so much, Luise. I do love the door though, but my journal is still overall okay. Little Ephy is so cute here on the front. But speaking of Ephy, where has he gone actually? Maybe he's in his usual spot in the scrap basket. Oh, look at that. We should be quiet. He has his sleeping mask on. And he didn't want to take his Santa hat off yet. Aww. Sweet little Ephy. Obviously, he has gone into hibernation. He must have been exhausted after Dephemerember. Poor little guy. By the way, if you remember in Ephy's first letter from December 1st, he mentioned that Luise would get a different second prompt than me. So let's check out her video to see which one she got and how she made her piece of ephemera. So this almost concludes Dephemerember 2023. We still have the flip through and giveaway drawing coming up on January 9th. And please don't stress yourself if you are not done with the prompts. It's not a race, nor is there a Dephemerember police. Please keep posting on social media. We truly love seeing what you create. And thank you so much for sticking around. And I hope you enjoyed this artistic journey with us this year. And as we turn the page to a new year, may it be filled with creativity, joy, and endless inspiration. Happy New Year to all my fellow journalers. Love you guys. Mwah! Mwah!